as much as possible at rallies or other events, or Earth Day would be another example where you can go and you know, represent a little bit, make up a sign or something like that. There's lots of times and places where a sign or a t-shirt can have a big impact and get people talking. And whether you're talking with them or whether, you know, they're talking to each other because they drove by and they saw you with a sign, it doesn't matter. I think the more conversation that is had about cannabis, the better, because ultimately a lot of the negative images and impressions have been built up upon a lack of information and ignorance. And the more we can stir up conversation in the community, again, even just by having banners and signs up where people walk by and go like, they're playing soccer at a pot rally, like, you know, those sorts of you know, images and conversations, again, ultimately are more important than you know, any, you know, books or things that we can do within our own community, because there's, I guess, you know, when it comes right down to it, there's very few people that don't believe in the legalization of cannabis anymore. Even in the United States, it's over 50%. And so the people that we're really trying to get to are a minority now. It's really hard to have a direct conversation with anyone who doesn't believe in legalization of cannabis, in part because they're so old that they're more in old age homes than they are out on the streets. And certainly the statistics every year that, you know, we're evolving, you know, more people are voting for legalization. But you know, the more that again we're out, you know, in the public, the bigger impression we have. And hiding in the closet is only going to allow the current problems to perpetuate. But I didn't talk a lot about politics here, partly because to me politics and cannabis activism are almost diametrically opposed to each other. Politics really sucks and cannabis activism is a lot of fun. And so it's something though that obviously politics is critical to cannabis activism though, and there are many that believe that most of what I've just talked about is a waste of time and that we should be just dealing specifically with politicians and what's happening with Stephen Harper and his crime bill, for example, right now. And certainly, you know, we can't ignore these people. But my personal position has been to work in the community and to drive change in the community so that cannabis becomes an accepted part of our lives and of society. And politicians will eventually concede to that development in the community. But on the other hand, you know, politics is the driving force behind law. And so next week I'm really glad to have David Bratzer here, Victoria police officer. He's going to be coming to teach the lecture here, or talk, I shouldn't say teach it. But he's going to be here. He's running for the Victoria School Board. And certainly he sees politics as the avenue for change. And I think we need to support David and anybody else running for politics as much as possible that is outspoken cannabis activists, because we don't have enough of them. If more people in our industry are seen, we're brave enough to speak out and run for election like David, again, the conversation would be elevated that much more. And I just can't thank David enough for helping us in Victoria, again, elevate that conversation so that people are talking about him because they saw a poster, or they read about it in the paper, or they heard through discussion about him. Whatever it takes, we need to help get the word out about David running for the school board. It's just coming up in a few weeks. And again, there are other political things that we can do, but I have a whole class on politics. I think it's next semester, so I'm going to save the discussion on politics for that. But I would just like to thank everybody again for coming to the lectures and otherwise for helping to bring the cannabis plant back. And Yeah, so I guess, next week's lecture is supposed to be on cannabis in the media, but it's David Bratzer, so if you can put the word out for him, that would be great. Thanks everybody for coming out. Have a great day, and smoke on the